butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book.
Mike's Reading Rainbow.
I can go anywhere. Friends to know and ways to grow.
Mike's Reading Rainbow.
Hey guys, it's Mike Rowland again over here with Platinum Real Estate Professionals with another book review. I know you've all been waiting with bated breath for my next one. I know it's been a couple weeks. I've just been super busy. Market is just insane. So just spending a lot of time driving, marketing, everything that entails being an agent. But decided to take some time today to do a book review on a book that I recently read. It was a deep one. It was recommended to me by my wife. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This book is definitely a good read. It's pretty deep and it's very kind of spiritual. The book was okay to read, honestly. It was a great book, don't get me wrong, but it was just sometimes I like to read in the morning, and I definitely needed some coffee, or else this one, it's just, you read it, and then after a couple pages, you're like, what am I reading? I'm not processing anything. It's just kind of repetitive, but if I'm being honest, it wasn't like for me 100%, but still a very good book. It talks about just in general how we should all kind of just live in the moment, as opposed to just the way that we're conditioned in life and in general, where the way we approach things and the way we deal with things is based off of our past, and how we view the future might be based on the decisions that we're making currently. But this book tries to break that down as to where you live in the now, in the present, and you're conscious. It's your being. Again, it's a deep book. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it, but there were times where I got lost in it. But overall, definitely a powerful book. There's a lot of good messages. One thing I did take from the book itself was how we as human beings are conditioned to think that our brain is who we are. In reality is our brain is just an organ like any other organ, like our kidney, like our liver. It doesn't it's not us. Nothing. Our brain does not define us. And so if you can actually break that down and register it, it really kind of changes things. So you go day to day and you have your opinions on whatever, but that's only because you've been conditioned. Your brain has been conditioned to view things a certain way, whether it's your upbringing, just because you've been burned a certain way before, or there's certain consequences that have occurred based off your previous actions, to where your brain now identifies certain things and it perceives it as truth. And in reality it's just your brain's conditioning that has led you to think that way. Your brain is just an organ, just like anything else. So it's important to kind of distinguish and obviously our brain is what kind of, the motor functions, all that stuff, it is in our head. But at the same time, it's important to kind of step back. And it's a difficult thing to kind of discuss, but you step back from outside of your own head whenever you feel like you're judging something, and try to approach it and monitor it, pay attention to what your brain's thinking, but also understand that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It's just your brain that's been conditioned over time to think the way it's thinking. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because it's true. Our brains react to however we were brought up or conditioned or whatever, but that doesn't make it truth. It's our truth, because that's all we know, but that doesn't make it the real truth, which the more and more books I read, the more and more I'm starting to understand how important it is for perspective, just to see other people's point of view. And what we identify as truth is not necessarily truth. It's our truth, but that's not universal. So I thought that was kind of neat. Just the idea of just trying to be aware and conscious, and try not to make any decisions based off of the past, or just whatever you think the outcome is going to be in the future. That's not to say that you shouldn't use your brain at all, but just try to identify it as what it is. It's just like anything else, just an extra organ. It's obviously a very important one, but at the same time, it doesn't define who you are. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed from the book, was just, realize that, sometimes if you're ever stereotyping or, assuming, just try to nip that in the bud. You can't fight really your brain, but you can identify that it's happening. And maybe by identifying it, you're able to control a bit better and just view things differently, at least from a different perspective. But yeah, the book itself, like I said, it was a bit long and a bit drawn out for me. When I was reading it in the evening, it was a lot easier. When I wake up in the morning and I read, typically I need something a little bit more engaging, and to each his own. I mean, the book is a New York Times bestseller, so I'm the minority as far as really enjoying the book 100%. But I mean, I finished it, so obviously it was decent. And again, there's a lot to it. I felt like it could have been summed up quicker, but again, I'm not Eckhart Tolle, and I'm not making millions of dollars writing books, so I'm just doing reviews on them and maybe get like a couple views out of it. So it is a good book, and it's definitely worth the read. I did get a lot out of it. Again, it wasn't the most entertaining, but that's not what books need to be. Sometimes it's what you learned, and I did learn a lot, and I'm definitely approaching things, trying to be more in the now, in the future. So yeah, it's The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's definitely worth the read, and yeah, so give it a shot. Hope everyone is well on this Sunday evening, and I look forward to doing the review for the next one in the future. It's going to be a funny one, actually. It's The Disaster Artist. It's a movie that just came out starring James Franco, based on a true story. That's actually a hilarious read. I just finished it, but I'm going to wait a couple days till I do a review on that. But yeah, I will see you guys in a couple weeks, and I hope everybody is just killing it in the game of life. See you.
Take a look, it's in a book.
Mike's Reading Rainbow. Mike's Reading Rainbow.